Hello, I'm Reagan Vaughn. This is my first ever YouTube video. This channel will be created for me to talk to you guys about my life experiences, as well as things that I have, picked up on and learned as I've gotten older and, just started to make my way into society as a college student. So the first thing I want to talk about in this video is being yourself. Now, being yourself is very hard, but it is worth it in the long term. For starters, when you aren't yourself, you are blending in because everybody around you is blending in. Everybody around you is perfecting this version of themselves to avoid getting into conflict, to avoid receiving hate. People want to be appreciated more. They want to receive attention. That's the main thing. They want to receive attention from as many people as they possibly can without receiving backlash. People don't like criticism. People don't like being criticized. They don't like receiving feedback. And I think when you're blending in, there's nothing really for people to say about you because they can't say anything good because you're just the same as everybody else, and they can't say anything bad because of that exact same reason. And one thing I've noticed is that when I was being myself in high school and I tried to fit into groups of people who were blending in, those people can push you out. And by doing that, they basically, can shit talk you, or they can have these thoughts or have these, sort of subtle interactions with you that make it feel like you don't belong. And the reason people do this is not because they're mean. It's not because they're just bullying you. It means they're trying to push you out of their own social bubble to make themselves seem more normal to everybody else. Because whatever that person is dealing with, that person is putting it all onto you to give themselves a better chance of being accepted by society. And while that is really wrong, it is not something that you should really focus on or get upset at, because those people will always exist in your life. And the only way to not, put up with these people is to not let your emotions, get to you for most people. I think when you have emotions, they are extremely helpful. Letting your emotions get to you, like a lot of people say, don't let your emotions get to you. I say, let your emotions get to you. Because when you let your emotions get to you, your brain, your mind is basically telling you, hey, every time I'm around this group or this person, I'm feeling this sort of way. And if you continuously get your emotions invalidated, or you continuously feel like you have to blend in, and you don't feel like you would be accepted being yourself, you can't be in that situation anymore because it would just ruin your mental health. I've gone through a few, depressive episodes, and I think because I, took everything very personally from those people who were also trying to blend in just to, make themselves look better to everybody else. Because I took that so personally, even though at the end of the day, it's not really personal. They just are there to show you what society is like. But when you're listening to others and you're having these emotions, they will keep you in a bubble. They will keep you in this perpetual state of being in your mind and overthinking, like, oh, does this person not like me? Does this person blah, 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 blah. But listening too much to others, giving people that emotion, even if you're not showing them emotion when you're present with them, if you're in your room, if you're back at home by yourself and you're feeling this emotion because of them, you are giving them your emotional battery. Everybody has an emotional battery. Eventually it will go out. And when it goes out, people become very depressed, even suicidal, but you just do not want it to go out. And in order to keep it from going out, you need to know in your head, hey, I cannot take this stuff personally. I just need to find my own peace, find my own people that will actually, validate what I'm feeling and understand me and not keep me in this, bubble of this version of myself that you don't actually want to be. And if you're in this situation and you don't actually want to be this version of yourself that people, know you as currently, then you got to start just being yourself more and more. And if you can tell that you're getting pushed away more and more from your, let's say, like your friend group or, your relationship for being yourself, you then get to know way ahead of time that are not supposed to be around that person or those people. If you can do this very consistently, you'll be able to tell within, a few days, a week, at most a month, if you should be around that person or those people. I think in my case is, in high school, I struggled a lot with like knowing who to keep in, I guess, my circle, knowing, who to hang around, knowing who to give my emotional battery to. And I think something I was able to improve on in college is when I started to be myself more and not, put on this, mask or this facade or this version of myself, I was able to determine much quicker who I was better around or better suited to be around. And when you can determine that, you are able to have more, emotional battery. You are able to have more emotional battery for the people that you truly care about and you truly know are good people for you. And you're able to have this this kind of blockade that in your mind not to listen to certain people or give them the amount of social emotional battery that you've been slowly draining out to them for this long period of time. That is pretty much all I wanted to cover for this video. My last final thoughts are being yourself means being creative and having ideas. We all have these ideas, and when we're not ourselves, we are afraid to share these ideas because we think that people will reject them. We think that people won't like them. We want to be as similar as everybody else because we think that is how we'll succeed in life. That is how we'll get accepted into life, have as much opportunities as you can. You want to, any idea that you have, you want to be able to really grasp it. You want to be able to, bring it up to people. Like, let's just say, for an example, I'll give like a very low-key kind of example, but let's just say you have a friend group and they all want to go to this restaurant, right? And they're all like, let's go to McDonald's, for example, but you want to go somewhere else, like Chipotle. Most people won't even suggest Chipotle because they know they'll get turned down. And even if you do get turned down, that's fine, but you still need to put your idea out there. If you want to go to, a different restaurant, then just say it. But this is like a basic example. It'll eventually get, deeper and deeper to the point where, if you're really feeling like these emotions when you're consistently around these people, you won't even want to say them. And that's something that is really not good for your mental health. So when you're around people, just, be creative. Say what you are thinking, because then you can be able to tell based on the reaction of the people that you're around whether they are good for you or not. If, they're shooting down your idea in like a second, then that means, you can kind of tell how much they care about you. And if they're, kind of thinking about it, your idea, and even if it does get rejected in the long end, the fact that they are thinking about it and, they kind of processed it means that they do care about you. And if you're able to, tell these social clues with people who you are with and around, you can tell who's good for you and not, and therefore you can tell who is best to be around when you're being yourself. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in my second video, hopefully.